Hello gamers! Hello gamers! Welcome back to a new episode of the Minecraft series. I've been recording for the past 8 minutes without my phone working, my microphone working, so that's always great. So I'm going to be able to really talk about what I wanted to in a more concise manner, though, because that's cool, because I was kind of rambling and being very rambling is the word for it. And now that I know what I want to say and how I want to say it, mostly because I do already know what I want to say, as I said earlier, but you weren't here. Basically, once again, this is a message from Divine Mandate. More so even like it's a truth that came to me during one of my meditation sessions and communions with higher beings, and now I'm here. I'm back again to tell you the truth that I learned, and the truth is quite simple. Skyscrapers, like the big towers that are in cities and stuff like that, where you have maybe offices, or some skyscrapers are said to have residential. I say said to because my opinion, my thoughts, this divine revelation that I got is that skyscrapers are not real. It's a bit unclear if the information I received was that they're not real or that they're not human-made, because obviously, as I said multiple times before, when I channel these beings, they're not always so clear about what I need, about the information I need to communicate, right? And here it's either, and I mean, it's not that different from one another, because if something is not human-made, I mean, is it really real? That's a big question, right? But that's more of a matter of opinion. The fact of the matter is that skyscrapers are not real or were made by aliens. Very much like a lot of people say that about pyramids, but obviously the pyramids are man-made. There's extensive documentation on how people were ancient Egyptians were able to make them. So that's not really something that I want to touch on. What I want to touch on is in something that's like, compared to pyramids, it is quite incredible. Literal skyscrapers, towers that were built to reach the heaven. This is above. And are we supposed to believe that we're able to make that, like, as human beings? Because we don't fly, need I remind you, we don't have wings. And also, like, the biggest cranes I've ever seen have not even been tall enough to reach the sky. So otherwise it would take fucking hours for anyone to get up in them. So my point is that I don't really believe skyscrapers are even real, because I've never seen a skyscraper in real life. So if I haven't seen it, is it real? That's a big question that I'm not sure can be easily answered. And if they are real, I think they are not human-made, because I don't think humans can make these kind of buildings. To be quite honest, like, sure, the pyramids were difficult to make, but at least they don't reach the skies. Like the literal limits, upper limit. I mean, we've sent stuff into the sky, like planes, but planes can build, they're not up there for long enough that it can build. You'd have to create like a floating construction site in the sky. It's not possible, to be honest. Like, the more I think about it, the less I believe it. And okay, I want to explore a bit during history the different types of skyscrapers, and to really go through them in a way that I can perhaps wrap my head around my theory and more explore it. You know what I mean? So the first skyscraper, the first towers to reach the heavens, was obviously the Babel Tower, the Tower of Babel. And we all know what happened to the builders of the Towers of Babel. They were sent everywhere on Earth and given the gift of language, or the curse of not understanding each other. So, gave a lot of job for linguists in the future, but a bit difficult to understand each other when there's not. Presumably before that there was only one language. Now it's a bit more complex, obviously, as you know. So first skyscraper, God said nah, even before it was done building. So first of all, we don't know if it would even have been possible, because we never finished it. And had it been possible, God would have said no long before we were done. So now we're supposed to pretend that maybe fucking thousands of years later, which is nothing for God, obviously, he's changed his mind and says, well, I guess that's okay now. Obviously, that's preposterous. So that's kind of like one of my big arguments, is that really, why would it be allowed then? Now, but be disallowed then, which, that's kind of what I was thinking about the Tower of Babel, the first true skyscraper. Now let's look at other skyscraper related events. 9/11. 9/11 was horrible, but I do think that the people who sent these supposed planes knew about the fact, much like me, they were probably aware of their non-existence and of their alien origins, right? And that's why they decided to run into it. Obviously, they were wrong to do it, because there's no reason to destroy these. If anything, they are heavenly built, so that would be blasphemy to destroy them. But I can understand the scientific prodding, and I don't commend it, but I do commend it, but not in these ways. They did it wrong. So a lot of things, when you think about it, really revolve around the concept of skyscraper, and that's that makes sense, right? Something so huge, you kind of want to base your entire life around it. And let's look at, I don't know, I personally, I've never seen a skyscraper in real life, but the closest skyscraper to me is not that far, and I've never seen it, but I'm aware of it. It's in Paris, the Montparnasse Tower, and when you're next to the Eiffel Tower, if you've ever been there, you probably are at the size of it, right? That makes sense. That would make sense. That's the only normal reaction to it. And you're like, how can anything be taller? And they're like, well, the Montparnasse Tower, the French skyscraper, one of the Parisian skyscrapers, the tallest building in France, maybe Paris, definitely. And it's like they built something taller than the tallest structure. Like, you had the Eiffel Tower, which was huge and took fucking hundreds and hundreds of hours and thousands of hours of work from construction worker, organizing, engineers, and stuff like that. And you're telling me that we can make something bigger, and not only bigger, but 1,000 times bigger, because it reaches the sky, which the Eiffel Tower didn't really do. Never did, still doesn't. It hasn't changed. So, if it was that easy to make, which it supposedly is, according to everybody, why aren't they everywhere? Why aren't they in, I don't know, every single village? You just need one big skyscraper, and the rest of the village is just you know, nature. You would need to destroy nature if skyscrapers really existed. They don't. So we need to destroy nature to create buildings on the ground. That's kind of my point. And I mean, in France, it's now illegal to create a rigid. It's not illegal, but it's very difficult to create a standing structure, residential structure that's taller than 3 stories. You need a lot of, you know, paperwork and stuff like that to make it. And I think they're like, people won't investigate, you know, so that they're like, yeah, if we make it hard enough, they will just give up on trying to make a skyscraper, so we don't have to tell them that they're fake. You know what I mean? I personally think I'm not fooled, and they're not fooling anyone. I mean, I don't know how they make them. I know that there are pictures, and the pictures, while I'm kind of tempted to say that they're fake, probably not fake, you know what I mean? But definitely something going on that's a bit fishy, you know? Like, maybe they're using like holograms or stuff like that to create giant pictures, because pictures are fine to do. They're not as difficult as buildings. Also, like, if you go to if you have to scale a skyscraper every time you want to freaking like go home, I don't think that would be possible, to be honest. Like, nobody can live there if it takes days of going up and down. Like, that's not rational. So even like in terms of logic and logistics, it doesn't make sense. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, when you're in the horizontal plane, you can use cars or other vehicles to move faster. That's why it makes sense. When you go up, you can't. There's no upwards car. You need to go up and down every time. And like, that sounds a bit unbelievable to me. That's all I have to say, I think. I mean, it's kind of a short video. That's kind of, it's an idea, a thought I had. I mean, I kind of wish I knew more. I had a bit more to tell you, you know, about skyscrapers not being real. It's a bit weird though, because I don't think there is anything nefarious going on. It's just that like nobody can explain it, and so they're like, well, we build them. But like, sure, I mean, but like, I don't think that's true. So how did they appear? I think it should be investigated, not necessarily in the way it was made on 9/11, but we should, you know, kind of like send scientists going on one of them, just being like, studying the way the stairways work there. Maybe it's a bit of a trick of the light. You feel like you're going up when you're going down. Stuff like that, you know, where you can do a bunch of optical illusions. Maybe it's just a magician that was like Houdini didn't die when he died. And he just disappeared and was like, I'm going to make the greatest trick ever, creating illusions of skyscrapers. And people are going to be fooled and stuff like that. So, because when you look at it, like a lot of skyscrapers in big cities are fucking empty. Because obviously you don't want to live there. Nobody wants to live on or work there, in theory, even if they existed, but they don't even exist. So, like, obviously nobody can live where something that doesn't exist or even work. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts. I wish that scientists were sent up skyscrapers to see, like, to investigate, really, because that's kind of weird. Like, you could even, like, I don't know, there's that guy like that climbed up one, you know, on the outside with suction cups. And I think that was quite brave, but to be honest, mountains go that far up, you know what I mean? So it could have been just a weirdly shaped mountain that he climbed and not really a skyscraper. I don't really know how. I mean, how do you go up to the sky just climbing? That doesn't make sense to me. That doesn't make sense, and I don't think that's even like... I can't imagine like even construction workers being okay with that, you know? People are like, you're going to build a skyscraper. Like, damn. First of all, how much does that cost? Cost probably a lot of money. Like, the sky is very high. And also, like, if you have a fear of heights, I don't think you can work there. So, I mean, I definitely couldn't work there. But I've never seen, like, construction sites floating in the sky. You know? And you need that. Because if it takes days to go up and down, that's not realistic for building. For like a construction worker to do. You know? Living up there, building and stuff, nah, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense at all. That just breaks all labor codes. I'm sorry. The more I think about it, the less possible it seems. So it's probably holograms or Houdini illusions. Like, it's an illusion, it's a trick of the light. These things, I mean, I was reading about Fata Morganas, which are illusions in the desert, hallucinations. Not in the desert, but at sea, where things appear very different than they actually are. Much taller, sometimes floating in the sky. And I think maybe that's the explanation for skyscrapers. Because you don't know anybody, I don't know, and nobody knows anybody who's like, yeah, I live in a skyscraper. Like my ass, first of all, and also like if someone tells you they live in a skyscraper, they're either making fun of you or just like trying to get rid of you. Like, yeah, I live there. It's like saying, I don't know actually, we have a saying for that in English, in French, but I don't know how it translates. But it's like giving a fake number to someone. You don't want them to bother you, but you also want them to leave you alone. So you give them a fake number, or you give them a fake address at a skyscraper, and it's like, okay, whatever. So that you leave them alone. So, I mean, yeah, that's kind of it about skyscrapers, really, because I'm still really thinking about them a lot, and I might add some things in the future to this. I do definitely want to test my theory against reality and go up one in the future, see if they really exist. Because if they do exist, which is definitely not something that I'm leaving out, a possibility that I'm not leaving out. If they do exist, I don't think they are man-made, because even then, like, it doesn't make sense in terms of materials, time, stuff, everything I've said before, basically. Utilities, I mean, how do you make water climb that tall? You can't, you really cannot. I mean, imagine the plumbing. Just imagine the plumbing. So yeah, that's something to ponder further on for me and to explore. Definitely want to explore one of them in the future, just as a scientific experiment, if that even is possible, obviously. But I'm going to leave you there, and I'm going to see you tomorrow with more Baldur's Gate, so see ya!